Hello students, welcome you all. Today's topic of our presentation is the secondary metabolites from the unit 1 of your botany paper 3, that is the current trends in plant sciences 1. In your first year BSc, you have already studied the some basic part of the secondary metabolites. So let's start with today's presentation with the secondary metabolites. Now before going to the secondary metabolites, let's have some basics regarding the metabolites. You all know that the metabolites, these are the intermediates or the end products of the cellular metabolism, which is catalyzed by the various enzymes that naturally occur within the cells. All cells, all living cells, they are having the presence of metabolites. These metabolites, they are the intermediates or the end products of cellular metabolism. You all know that the metabolism, which is a complex process containing the anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism, these are the synthetic type of the processes, while the catabolism, it includes the breakdown type of the processes or reactions, and together they constitute the metabolism. Within a cell, metabolism is very essential for the survival of that cell. All cells, they perform the metabolism, and within that metabolism the various intermediates or the end products are produced. These intermediates or end products, they are called as the metabolites. These metabolites, they are very small molecules, and all the metabolites, that means the metabolome, it forms a very large network of the metabolic reactions, where the outputs from the one enzymatic chemical reaction are the inputs to the other chemical reactions. So this is a complete network, large network of the metabolic reactions, and within that the many intermediates or end products are produced, and these are called as the metabolites. So anabolism plus catabolism. Anabolism means synthesis and catabolism means breakdown, and together they constitute the metabolism. And within that metabolism, the large network of the metabolic reactions are present, and they produce the metabolites. These metabolites, they can be broadly classified into the two types: primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. As the name suggests, primary metabolites, these are the organic compounds of small molecular weight which are present in the living tissues. These primary metabolites, they include sugars, amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol, triglycerides, phospholipids, cholesterol, purines, pyrimidines, nucleosides, nucleotides, etc. So you can understand that all vital and very important uh, compounds, organic compounds of the cell are the primary metabolites. These primary metabolites, they are having the small molecular weight, and they are present in near about all living cells. These primary metabolites, they comprise of the different types of the organic compounds which are limited, or which are mainly including the biomolecules such as carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and the nucleic acids. These primary metabolites, they are universally found in the plant kingdom. That means every plant, it shows the presence of the primary metabolites, as they are products of the fundamental metabolic pathways or the cycles. These fundamental metabolic pathways or cycles include the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, then the Calvin cycle. So all these are very fundamental, essential metabolic pathways, and the intermediates or the end products of these processes, they are the primary metabolites. As these are very vital, essential metabolic pathways, the um, the organic compounds that are produced within these fundamental metabolic pathways, they constitute the primary metabolites. They mainly include biomolecules such as carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. And due to their importance of these pathways in the plant to synthesize, assimilate, and degrade the organic compounds, these primary metabolites are very essential in the plant life. They are having the identifiable functions and play known roles in the normal physiological processes. They are having the very identifiable functions and very important roles in the physiological processes such as photosynthesis, respiration, and others. The primary metabolites, they are very essential for the growth, development, and reproduction. In absence of primary metabolites, plants, or more properly the living organisms, they cannot grow, they cannot develop, and also they cannot reproduce. So they are very essential for these processes such as the growth, development, and reproduction of the plants or living organisms. Now, what is meant by the secondary metabolites then? The analysis of plant, fungal, and microbial cells. Plant, fungal, and microbial cells, not animal cells, show the presence of the thousands of compounds which are other than the primary metabolites, and they include the alkaloids, flavonoids, rubber, essential oil, antibiotics, colored pigments, gums, spices, etc. And all these are called as the secondary metabolites. These secondary metabolites, they are very useful to the human beings. Some secondary metabolites, they are also having the ecological importance. They are important ecologically also, and they are not involved in the primary metabolic processes. What we have seen in the primary metabolic processes, these primary metabolic processes are important for the growth, development, and the reproduction, and they are very important, vital, essential, fundamental metabolic pathways. So within that, during this metabolism, the other compounds, they are also produced, and these are called as the secondary metabolites. They are not essential for the growth, development, and reproduction, but they are important from the other point of view, such as they are having the ecological importance, or they are having the some protective protection against the different types of the herbivores, pathogens, etc., or other plant to plant interactions, or plant to other organisms interaction. So within that, they are important. So simply, secondary metabolites, they are required for the survival of an organism. They are required for the survival of an organism. Now, what is the difference between the primary and secondary metabolites? Primary metabolites, these are found in all plants, while the secondary metabolites, they are specific secondary metabolites, they occur in the plant species of a family. That means secondary metabolites are present in plants, but they are not universal. That means it is not essential that the every secondary metabolite will be present in every plant. So specific secondary metabolites occur in the plant species or family. That means in one plant species you will find the one type of secondary metabolite, then in other plant species there can be the second type of the secondary metabolite can be present. Then primary metabolites are produced in large quantities, and they can easily be extracted from the plants. That means you can easily extract the primary metabolites, and they are present in larger quantities in plants. But the secondary metabolites, they are produced in smaller quantities, and they cannot be extracted from the plant easily. These primary metabolites, they are the biomolecules which are required for the basic metabolic process, which we have already seen. While the secondary metabolites, this is important point, these secondary metabolites, they are the derivatives of the primary metabolites. That means from primary metabolites, the secondary metabolites are produced. Okay, that means they are the derivatives of the primary metabolites. Then the primary metabolites are the constituent of the basic molecular structure of the cell. That means they constitute they are having the cellulose, which is important for the formation of the cell wall. Then they include the sucrose, starch, fatty acids, which are important for the energy, and they are important for the molecular structure, basic molecular structure of the cell. That means the biomolecules, they they are the basic molecular structure, constituent of the basic molecular structure of the cell, while the secondary metabolites are not constituent of the basic molecular structure of the cell. Then the primary metabolites are highly useful to plants, while the secondary metabolites, they play limited role in the plants. That means primary metabolites, they are very useful, while the secondary metabolites, they are also useful, but they play limited role in the plants. Then what are the functions of secondary metabolites? In our previous discussion, we have already seen the some part, but what are the actual functions of the secondary metabolites? At present, we do not understand the role or the function of the all secondary metabolites in organisms, but the many of these secondary metabolites are useful to human beings as well as they are useful for the plants. They are having the ecological significance. These secondary metabolites are used by the plants in their defense against the herbivores and pathogens. So for the defense mechanism, they require the secondary metabolites which are useful against the herbivores and pathogens. So many plants, they produce the latex. So the plants which produce the latex, the herbivores cannot eat that plant, as well as the for the pathogens, the various types of the secondary metabolites, they are useful for the defensing the pathogens. Then some of them, they attract the animals for the pollination. You all know that the pollination is very important process in the reproduction of the angiosperms, where the pollen grains from the one flower or the pollen grains from the stamens or the androecium, they they get transferred to the stigma of the same flower or the other flower of the same plant or the different other plant. That is called as a pollination. So transfer of pollens from anther to the stigma, that is called as a pollination. As well as for the seed dispersal, the animals are required for pollination. Animals are required, and these animals are attracted due to the presence of the secondary metabolites, because these secondary metabolites, they are important for the formation of the beautiful colors of the flowers. So to attract these animals for the pollination and seed dispersal, the secondary metabolites are very important. These secondary metabolites, they act as agents of plant competition. They are important for the plant competition. The plants are having the competition with the other plants, so within that, these secondary metabolites are important. They are also used in making the drugs, insecticides, then the flavors, pigments, scents, rubber, spices, and other industrial materials such as the gums, resins for the human welfare. So that is another one important function of the secondary metabolites, that they are important for the human beings. Then moving to the types of secondary metabolites, this point also we have seen the in SYBSc, where we have seen that the secondary metabolites, they are highly numerous in their number, and they are very chemically diverse in nature. These secondary metabolites, they belong to the three types. First type is the isoprenoids. These isoprenoids, they are also called as the terpenes or terpenoids. These are the lipid-like lipophilic compounds. They are the lipophilic. Lipophilic means loving to the lipids. That's why it is called as a lipid-like lipophilic compounds, and they are synthesized from the acetyl CoA. Here in this diagram, you can see here, these are the terpenes which are synthesized either from the acetyl CoA through the mevalonic acid pathway, or they are produced from the 3-phosphoglycerate or pyruvate. 3-phosphoglycerate or pyruvate through the methyl erythritol pathway, that is a MEP pathway. So either mevalonic acid pathway or methyl erythritol pathway, these terpenes are produced from either acetyl CoA or 3-phosphoglycerate. That is the first type, isoprenoids. These are also called as a terpenes or terpenoids, which contain the isoprene units. This isoprene unit, it is the basic unit in the isoprenoids, and this isoprene unit, it is a 5 carbon unit, which is called as a isoprene. The examples of the isoprenoids include rubber, essential oils, carotenoid pigments. So all these are the isoprenoids. Then the second type is the nitrogen containing secondary metabolites. As the name suggests, nitrogen containing secondary metabolites. These secondary metabolites, they contain the nitrogen. These nitrogen containing secondary metabolites, they are again classified into the three types. First one is, that is alkaloids, second cyanogenic glycosides, and the third one is the non-protein amino acids. Here you can see these are the nitrogen containing secondary metabolites. These nitrogen containing secondary metabolites, these are the aromatic amino acids. These are the aromatic amino acids which are synthesized from the either from the shikimic acid pathway, or they are produced uh, from the tricarboxylic acid cycle, that is a TCA cycle. So within that also, from aliphatic amino acids, they are synthesized or they are produced from the aromatic amino acids. These nitrogen containing secondary metabolites, they are synthesized in the plants from the amino acids, either aromatic or aliphatic amino acids. Okay, these nitrogen containing compounds, secondary metabolites, they contain the three types, that is alkaloids, cyanogenic glycosides, and non-protein amino acids. Within the alkaloids, the you can tell the examples of alkaloids, such as the ephedrine, which is obtained from the ephedra, then the nicotine, which is obtained from the tobacco, caffeine, which is obtained from coffee, theine, then the quinine, also the colchicine, which is obtained from the colchicum. So these are the examples of alkaloids which are obtained from the plants. Then the cyanogenic glycosides, this is the second type, in which the examples are the glycosinolates, which is present in mustard oil, which is responsible for the pungent taste, and the non-protein amino acids. These non-protein amino acids, as the name suggests, these are the amino acids which are not the part of protein. So these are called as a non-protein amino acids. These amino acids, they include the albizine, canavanine. These are the examples. And last, third type of the secondary metabolites is the phenolic compounds, which include the one or more phenolic residues. So phenolic compounds, they are produced either through the mevalonic acid pathway or shikimic acid pathway, and they are produced from the acetyl CoA or erythros 4-phosphate or phosphoenol pyruvate. Here you can see these are the products of the primary carbon metabolism, that is a photosynthesis. So through photosynthesis, these are the compounds which are produced, and from these primary metabolites, these secondary metabolites are produced. So as we have seen already discussed, that these secondary metabolites, they are obtained from the primary metabolites. And here you can see in this diagram, you can see that all these secondary metabolites, they are the products of primary, obtained from the primary metabolites. Okay, these phenolic compounds, these are the aromatic compounds which are synthesized in the plants either from the acetyl CoA or erythros 4-phosphate or phosphoenol pyruvate, and they are having the one or more phenolic residues. The examples include the tannins, lignins, then the flavonoids, which gives the characteristic colors to the flowers of the plants, which are important to attract the animals for the pollination, such as the honey bees. Okay, and other insects are attracted towards these attractive colors of the flowers, and these colors are due to the flavonoids. Then the ferulic acid, salicylic acid, coumarins, these are the examples of the phenolic compounds. Okay, so these basically three types of secondary metabolites are present: isoprenoids or terpenes or terpenoids, then the nitrogen containing secondary metabolites, and the phenolic compounds. And all the pathways are given in this diagram, so you can refer that. Thank you.